wash them in that tub right there. When a wig would come in, we would drop the curls, undo the queue, take off any adornments, and comb it out. Okay, get the kinks out. Stick it in that tub of water, get it nice and wet. Then in our wig shop, we lather the wigs up with this soap from Castile, Spain. We use this soap because it has a little olive oil in it. So the olive oil will bring back some of the luster and hopefully help slow down the aging, the brittling process. Okay, so it doesn't dry out quite so quick. So lather it up good, rinse it, let it dry, comb out the kinks if there are any, and then go ahead and restyle it. Yes?
So is the hair from cadavers? Is it real hair?
No, the human hair that we use is typically obtained from young peasant girls from the different countries of Europe. It's business. The hair merchants will travel to all the different countries, mostly in Europe, because there's a different climate, different diets. It's better for growing healthier hair. And they'll go to these poor towns and make arrangements with peasant families so that the girls will be groomed as they grow from a baby girl to a young girl to a teenage girl to have their hair cut and harvested, if you will, at some point. I know it doesn't sound all that great, but it's a business. This baby girl's mother, sister, aunt, cousin, great-grandmother, great-aunt, all been in the business. That's how the hair merchants know where to go.
They get paid those.
They trade, they barter, the old-fashioned way. So it could be clothing, could be food, could be jewelry, could be perfume, you know, something that the family might want to trade later on.
If you were going to make a person, would it be fashionable to have your own colored hair, or was there certain hair colors that were?
We had a color convention. Of course, you could do for a party whatever you like, but typically day to day we wear brown. In the evening we wear lighter colors. The gentlemen, blondes and grays. The ladies, blondes. Okay. However, powdering, we powder wigs for special occasions. If you have a fine wig like that, there's no need to powder. Okay, but you could. So a lady could get a wig that she wants powdered in some of these fantasy colors. I know people think that we haven't been using fantasy colors until the later centuries. They've been around for a long time.
Why would you want to wear a wig that looked like that?
Well, this one is not yet done. It needs to be combed and styled and prepared. So this is actually going to be, because you can't tell at this point, this is going to be a magistrate's wig. It's going to have the two flaps that come down, okay, and it will have big curls on the side. So yeah, it's very hard to tell what you're looking at until it's complete. I agree, that's not a good looking wig. That's right there. Very good. Yes?
I have two questions.
Sure.
One, were there many women that actually, many women that wanted to shave their heads to wear this, to do, I mean, and be like that 24/7? I don't.
See, you guys didn't see her eyes. I saw her eyes.
Yeah.
Okay? Keep in mind why. Okay, who are you? You're wealthy British citizens. Only 5% of the colonists here in Virginia wore wigs. Think about that. That's not a lot of people. So if you're seen wearing a wig, you're identified just like that, okay? Shaving your head. The only time you don't have a wig to replace it is the very first time. But what do have? You're gonna have a very simple cap like this young lady, a white cap, a beige cap on your head, but what else are you gonna have on? You're gonna have beautiful clothes. You're gonna have all kinds of jewelry. You're gonna have beautiful shoes. Why? Because you are a wealthy woman, and people are gonna see you walking down the street, and they're not gonna say, they're gonna say, oh, her wig is being done, she's getting a new wig, and nobody's gonna pay any attention, so it's okay.
Well, my second question is, and this is a 21st century question, are there any wigs out there today that are original to this time period? In other words, have they been preserved?
They have been preserved. Our wig makers do actually prepare wigs the old ways.
Right.
And there are,
to that.
you know, in England, the British Parliament, and for you young folks, the British Parliament is like our Congress, just in case you didn't know. The British Parliament still wears these types of wigs. The British legal system, the magistrates still wear the big wigs, the lawyers, the barristers still wear traditional British barrister wigs. So there are houses in London that do in fact continue to make these wigs today. They're very, very expensive.
But are there any in museums or somewhere that
Sure.
that are from that?
Yeah,
this original
around,
period?
mostly in the northeast.
Okay.
Okay, by the time they got out to the frontier, we were getting away from wearing them. But there are down in North Carolina, up in Boston, you know, here in town, they'll have them. Yes, young man, you've been waiting a long time.
Would the wigs ever get frizzy? Like they'd have like little like.
Sure, they do, which I know it's hard to see, but there are hair nets on the wigs.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the reason that the hairnet is there, so that once you are wearing your wig, that doesn't happen when you're walking about town and it's very windy, or you're riding around in the wagon. Okay, if you don't have this thing wrapped, this is what's going to start happening to you. Yes, those things do happen if not prepared for.
If the girls in Europe, did their hair have to be a certain color? Like
Nope,
they
they were looking for, think of Europe, who lives where. So where am I going to get brown wigs? I'm going to get brown hair from down in Southern Europe. Okay, where am I going to get blonde wigs? I'm going to get them from Scandinavia. Where am I going to get red and orange? Okay, you're going to get that from over in Ireland and Scotland. Okay, so they took all the different hairs from all the different countries.
So a hairnet is an old-time hairspray. What were those nets made out of?
Hair, the same hair.
Oh my. And is this how you're making the curls?
No, this is making the actual hair that would be sewn onto, if you can come, Mistress is working on this one. I don't want to see how she's preparing to, she's weaving hair. They weave them for certain lengths depending on where they're going to go, and then they're sewn in needle and thread as they go across.
Oh my.
Yeah.